Parshas Noach. The pasuk says in Bereshis Zion pasuk Chav Gimel. The Torah says that when it came to the Mabul, everything was wiped out. Behema, Remes, Oif HaShamayim, creeping things, the fowl of heaven. Vayimochim min ha'oretz, they were blotted out from the earth. Vayishoer ach Noach, v'asher ito b'teva. Noach was the only ones that were left in the world were Noach and those that were with him in the teva, in the ark. That's the simple pshat. But Rashi brings down, Medrash Haggadah, Rashi brings down that from the word ach, achin v'rakin miyutin, whenever the word ach and rak, it's always used to reduce. Noach was reduced because goneach v'gohe dam mitorach habehemes v'achayes. He was groaning and spitting blood because of the trouble with the cattle and the beasts. He was working very, very hard to feed the animals and the cattle and the beasts. And the Gemara in Sanhedrin and Medrashim, the Gemara says that Eliezer, the servant of Avram, asked Shem what was going on there in the ark, in the teva, during the Mabul. How did you survive? There was so many animals to feed. And Shem answered, Tsar Godel Hoya Bateva. It was very, very painful. It was very, very painful in the ark. And the Gemara says further, the Gemara says, because the animals that had to be fed in the 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, everybody had to be fed at a different time, and there was no sleep in the ark. Rabbi Levi said that the Gemara says they were not toyim tam shena. They did not sleep the whole time in the ark. The Gemara also says that there was one oaf, one bird that was sort of hiding in a corner in the ark. And when Noach found this animal while lying in a corner, he said to him, "How come you're not coming out for food?" So the name of this oaf was Avarshina. He said, the Avarshina said, I didn't have the heart to trouble you to give me food because I saw how exhausted you were from giving everybody else the food. Noach was so taken by this statement of the Avarshina that he blessed this Avarshina to live forever, and so it was. This bird is living forever. Anyway, what comes out from all this is that there was Tsar Godel, there was terrible suffering going on in the ark to be able to feed all the animals. Nevertheless, when the land dried up and it came to leave the ark, it says in the Torah, Tzei min hateva. Hashem said to Noach, go out from the ark, implying that and the Chazal explain that Noach didn't leave right away when he was supposed to. He did not leave as soon as the dry land. I would think that as soon as the land dried, he would run out because he was suffering so much being there. But he didn't. He stayed, because it says Tzei min hateva only when Hashem said he should leave the ark. Did he leave the ark? And Noach said, he said that Kishem shenechnasti lateva bershus. Since when I entered the ark, it was only bershus of Hashem. Hashem said he should enter the ark. He will not leave. He will not leave the ark unless Hashem says that he should. So we see from there an incredible thing. I mean, that's midos. That's midos. That he. It's not derech eretz. It's not derech eretz. It's not respectful to. Hashem said he should enter the ark, and that they're going to go leave on his own. Hashem said to enter the ark, and he said, just like Hashem said for me to enter the ark when I should enter, so Hashem, I must wait for Hashem to say I should leave the ark, and that's what he did. It wouldn't be derech eretz. So therefore, even after the land dried, he wouldn't leave. He wouldn't leave until Hashem said he should leave. And the question is, Gvald. He wants to be a big Baal Derech Eretz. He wants to do things with midos and respect. But how much does a person have to? How much does a person have to suffer to be a Baal Midas? How much does he have to suffer? He was going through no sleep and and just constant serving all the animals. And now when it's all dried up, everything is dried, and he can leave, but he refuses to leave. He continues with all the difficult things that were happening in this, all the suffering that was going on in the ark. Why? Because it's not derech eretz. So it's not derech eretz. But I mean, where do you have to suffer so much to do things within the framework of derech eretz and midos tovos? And the answer seems to be that one must even suffer to be able to be the Baal Midas that the Torah wants. We should be on the alert, not to fall from our levels, not to. We should be Bali Derech Eretz, even if it requires a lot of effort to be this Baal Midas. Sometimes when we talk to our friends, and sometimes we have to control ourselves not to hurt the person, to be a Baal Midas, not to help the person, even if it's hard, even if it's very hard. This might be the Musar Haskel that we have to learn from this. Noach was willing to suffer to do things within the framework of Derech Eretz and Midos, even if it required suffering. He could have gone out, and the land was dry. He wouldn't, because it's not Midos. He was willing to suffer, to continue his suffering, as long as because it would not be in the framework of Midos if he would go out on his own. Hashem should help us understand that we should, how much effort we have to put in to do things within the framework of Midos Tovos. Sometimes it's hard to control ourselves, and we're not careful, and we're not. But we see from here that it's worth all the suffering, and the halacha requires. Noach taught us that we have to always do things within the framework of midos, no matter how difficult it may be. The Eibishter should help. We should be zeicher to this. Amen.